What is up, everyone? It's your boy, Two Guys Taking a Piss. Today, we'll be analyzing the long-awaited beast units that have finally graced their presence in Fire Emblem Heroes. Joining with me is my co-host, Blurk. Alright, so beast units. They're units that can transform at the start of a turn if they start near another beast unit or a dragon unit, or if they're not near any allies at all. When they do so, they gain unique buffs such as, they can move one extra space, or like a Wadao effect where they can do plus 10 more damage. It'll probably vary depending on the type of beast. Winged beasts probably are the ones that get one extra space. We'll see what happens with others, but for now, these are the two effects. So let's begin by talking about the Hawk King. Alright, so the Hawk King Tibarn comes with the wonderful ability of having, if the enemy, that's very important, if the enemy has 100% health and he goes and fights someone, he'll be able to make a guaranteed follow-up attack. This is huge, so you gotta remember, it doesn't matter how much HP he has, as long as the enemy is at full, he'll be able to do it. So you could do something silly like, desperation, and then he'll get 2 free hits for fun. But it doesn't quite matter anyway, because he does have a rather broken skill, in the form of Sturdy Impact. So, Burke, what impact do you think Sturdy Impact will bring to this game?
I would say a very sturdy one, which is a terrible.
Oh my god, dude! Don't even.
Whatever. So R.I.P. Deathblow 4. All kind of kidding aside, Deathblow 4 is still good if you're trying to get that, one shot. You need the maximum attack you can get. Yeah, like a Lilina type thing. Just get as high as you can, one shot. Deathblow 4 is great, but otherwise, I would rather trade 2 attack for 10 defense and foe can't make a follow-up attack. So, considering these are both rank 4 skills, this one is way better.
But I don't know. I actually kind of feel that those 2 extra attacks, if you double someone, might still be kind of better. Because when you think about it like this, okay? Foe cannot make a follow-up attack is kind of pointless if you end up killing the foe in the 2 hits that you plan on hitting them with anyway. Now, however, the defense plus 10 though, that is just... Ooh. See, if it wasn't for that defense plus 10, I would say Sturdy Impact is kind of dubious, because foe cannot make a follow-up attack might not even matter if you just kill them outright on the second attack, you know what I'm saying? That's how Tibarn works. As long as he's fighting someone with full health, he gets 2 hits. What if that second hit just finishes them off? Then we don't even have to worry about the follow-up attack.
Nope, you're exactly right. It's the plus 10 defense that makes this over the top. You can take someone with just average, mediocre defense, and you slap a 10 on it. Well, now all of a sudden they can actually take a hit back from some of these high attack units that we're seeing. 10 defense is a lot, so I do think that is a very good point, and that what helped makes this skill so strong.
Yeah, I mean, like, you remember Flora. You remember that stupid dagger that she has? It gives her 20 defense. Now,
yes,
she has 30. 30 out of nowhere. What? Excuse me?
You can take your 20 defense squishy and turn it into 50 defense Surtur.
Like, what? What? Yeah, normally, see, with units like that, they're afraid of fighting certain types of enemies that can counterattack. Because when they counterattack, they hurt really, really bad. So I use Jacob a lot in my Aether Raids. My Jacob, when he fights like City Mangorian Lyn usually has like really low defense, and she can't really fight against physical attackers that can counterattack back. So what ends up happening is that my Buster Butler just straight up annihilates her. However, what if she has sturdy impact? Now, she doesn't die, and I can't say equip quick repulse to finish her off. So then, she would be hurt, and a dancer could show up and make her move again. See, this is what makes sturdy impact scary, in my opinion. That fact that you could stay alive for a dancer to move your unit again. That is very, very scary in Aether Raid. Very, very scary. Imagine Lynn that does this. Imagine Reinhardt that does this. This skill is no good.
It just takes any unit with just average defense and makes them solid, or it takes a unit with solid defense and makes it great. So it just 10 is just such a large amount. It's going to swing so many matchups where before, oh, I can't initiate now because I'm gonna die on the counter, and that's just gonna change now. It's gonna change the combat math on a lot of matchups. So this is just a very, very strong skill. Now, I don't know if people want to fodder Tibarn for this, because Tibarn is awesome and he's highly demanded as a beast unit. But you know, if you don't actually care about him, yeah, this skill is worth getting.
I want that thing on Felicia, to be perfectly honest with you. I want
the setup you had with Flora in this sounds disgusting to me.
But Felicia, those plates are like those stupid Destructo discs that chops people in half. That thing is, I mean, even though we have Sturder, there are still non-Sturders running around, you know? Not every unit's a Sturder. And when that happens, she can slice through them. It's actually pretty scary. I wish healers can use this skill.
You're right. There's Surtur and Fey now.
Huh?
There's Surtur and Fey.
Oh, right. How could I forget? It's all the green units that gets this crazy stuff. It's funny, because then Flora can eat them alive. Nah, probably not. But anyway, I hope that healers could use sturdy impact, but they probably won't, because healers can't use anything except attack and speed solo, which is actually pretty cool, but still. Yeah, that huge increase in defense is really nice, but the way it works right now is really scary. Like I said earlier, with Brave, Lynn, or Reinhardt surviving an attack, allowing a dancer to move them again, because that is their only weakness. They get killed on counterattacks. If they don't get killed on counterattacks and a dancer shows up, the whole map is ruined. So unless you have a skill ready, there's gonna be some problems. But anyway, so yeah, I can't really think of much else to say about sturdy impact besides, well, I mean, it's there now. What are we gonna do? Hopefully we get a skill refinery so we can, you know, at least pass the skill around, but I don't know. I still not a huge fan of the skill. Do you have anything else to add? Or we're moving on?
Not on sturdy impact. Chill attack and even attack wave are both good skills. Tibarn has excellent skills. So
Tibarn's very sturdy. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, I don't want to say he's good fodder, because I don't think people want to fodder him, but if you actually don't care about him, he has an A slot you want, a B slot you want, and a C slot you want. So, yeah, you can't go wrong if you get him, especially with the A slot that's new, and chill attack is still great as a B slot. So yeah, he's great, and I'm sure we already saw in the video he had well over 60 attack on merge, so he's going to be a good unit. He's going to be good fodder. He's just excellent. So he's good.
I mean, charging right into enemies with that stupid extra movement space and potentially not die is pretty good. Although I still think that maybe the enemy phase is pretty much reliant on the chill attack. But I think that there's also better B skills to be used. Chill attack is better for supporting units. I don't think this man is a supporting unit, in my personal opinion.
Look at that pose. Does he look like he wants to support?
No, he doesn't look like a very supporting guy. He doesn't look very supportive to me. See, another thing about what you said about about foddering him is that chill attack, I think we have Garnet for that. I mean, some people might like Garnet, but we have Garnet for that. We can get rid of Garnet. Even attack wave, whatever, dude. It's not that important, but I feel sturdy impact is probably the only reason why someone will want to fodder him. All right,
Yeah,
well,
pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. Alright, well, let's move on to the Herons, shall we? Let's go with Leanne. We'll go in order of the video. So, Leanne is a Heron that can sing for you. She starts at a turn, restoring 7 HP to allies within 2 spaces of units, so she even doubles as a healer. It's actually pretty amazing. 7 HP might not seem like much, but it can be handy, especially if you abuse Miracle like I do. Miracle is very scary, especially if abused. So that 7 HP will allow your character to keep fighting on and on like unstoppable zombies. But otherwise, she does the same thing as Tibarn. Gets an extra movement speed. But, well, the problem is, it's a dancer with movement speed increase. That's a problem. A 3-space flying dancer, dude? I didn't even think that this would come out so soon, but it just did. That's deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Now, see, the thing with this, in comparison to Legendary Azura, is that Legendary Azura makes people move 3 spaces, but there's a chance that, oh hey, they outpace her, they just walk out of her range. This, on the other hand, she'll definitely reach them. And if she, for some reason, isn't, well, she will be able to by transforming into 3 spaces, because if you're not adjacent to somebody, you transform. So you get 3 movement. Unless, of course, you decide to screw up and start a turn where you revert. In which case, then you're not very good. But even then, in human form, you have 2 spaces. As a flying unit, that is still more than enough. Besides, I mean, she comes in flyer formation. Give her like aerobatics, and there you have it. She's just as good as any flyer units, flyer dancer.
Yep, you just nailed it right there.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a lot of beasts. You'll think you want to stack beasts. These are ones you want to stack with other things. Not directly, you want her to transform, but for example, dragons. You can use dragons here to dance them, and it's going to be like, you know, there's what we have, the flying tiki. There's a bunch of flying dragons now. I'm not looking forward to the 3 range because
I'm not looking forward to it either.
When you have, like, if you run this with like Tibarn or other of the flying ones, yeah, they can get out of range and whatnot. But when you're running 2 movement space units, and Leanne then will transform into 3, it's very likely she's not going to get outranged. So she can be around some dragons, and one goes in first, like a armored winter fae, and it's going to be unpredictable and
like more than that. Remember that little talk I just had about sturdy impact?
Yes.
What if she doesn't have Wings of Mercy? Doesn't matter, she doesn't need Wings of Mercy, because she can travel 3 spaces. She can catch up to cavalry. A flying unit that can catch up to cavalry. That is not right. Not right at all. That is what I'm most scared of. And now it's happening.
The Reinhardt's like going 6 spaces or whatever.
Yeah. That's screwed up. That's not right. That is not right. That's the problem. That is the problem with 3 ranged dancers. Because before, I could count on, hey, this dancer is gonna, move out of range, and it's gonna be Reinhardt is gonna move out of range. It's gonna be all right. The dancers can't reach. We can take care of this. Of course, I mean, there's also a chance where Reinhardt doesn't die in a counterattack, in which case Wings of Mercy will come. But that's conditional. Now, you're looking at like dragon teams or beast teams and then like one Reinhardt or something like that. So you can count on Leanne to always be a beast unit with 3 range to just constantly dance the Reinhardt. It is absolutely deplorable. Now you have very little safe spot. You have to take them out. But then you also have sturdy impact to worry about, so you can't take them out. See, this is what's happening with the meta right now. This is not good. The Reinhardt just constantly gets stronger and stronger. I am very scared. This is not right.
It's going to start to require some very advanced baiting in order to force AI into not properly having the setup to have Leanne, or I guess not just Leanne, also Reyson, who can do the same thing, continue to keep their 3 range. Now it's really hard to say right now when we can't play with the units, test them out, and whatever, to see how easy it's going to be to logic that out and to say I'll make these moves such that they don't stack properly and then they lose their 3 range. Well, that remains to be seen. It's very hard to look at that right now, this early, but that's probably going to be the best way to counter this, because otherwise, it's just going to be a bunch of 3 movement space units getting danced, moving again, and it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so if at start of turn, if she's near a Reinhardt, then it's not so bad. But if at start of a turn she isn't, then she could reach Reinhardt easily and do some really nasty things. But otherwise, you're right. We could set something up like that. Although, if a whole team is already going to be Dragon or Beast, then you kind of can't. They're always going to be transformed. So then you have some problems. I mean, their only condition to revert is if they're next to a human ally. Or something that isn't a dragon or a beast. That's the only way for them to transform back, to revert to a human form. So you're looking at constant beast changes, and these beast changes are not simple either. Think about it like this: since they grant attack +2, it's basically like power creeping them a little further and give them 2 more BST, which goes straight to attack. So beasts are not very they're very evil units. They're not very kind. They're really a huge definition of power creep right there. I hate...
play against too, but I think that they're going to be pretty fun to use.
Oh, they're definitely fun to use, but I mean, dude, like that's how most of the game is right now. A lot of fun to use units, but when they're used against you, they're not so fun anymore. You know what I mean?
Fair point.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we've spent enough time on Leanne, and by extension Reyson, because Reyson is the same exact thing. Like,
yeah, the only difference really is their C-slot. One has Hone, one has Fortify.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very glad that they're putting out both of these skills right now. And not waiting.
Yeah, unlike the case with Minion.
Because people... Exactly, I was about to bring that up. When we had... Dragons were in the game since launch, but when we got Ninian, she brought Fortified Dragons. And I was pumped. Everyone who likes Ninian was pumped. People who like Dragons were pumped. Everyone's happy. And we were like, okay, that's awesome. Now let's get Hone Dragons. So Hone Dragons will come in a month or 2 months. We'll get it soon. Great. It was like basically a year until Hone Dragons came out. Now, look, I get that dragons are a bit slower. Generally, there are some fast ones. Some of the Tikis are fast or whatever. They're generally slower. But Hone Dragons was in demand. People wanted it, and they took a year to make it. That was ridiculous and unacceptable. I'm very glad that now that we have a new unit type with beasts, that they're giving us both the Hone and Fortify right away. So people that want to make beast teams can actually fully utilize them from the beginning. If someone has been waiting for beast units, they have their Hone and their Fortify right now, and they can go have fun max buffing them.
Indeed. I mean, for a while, I was using dragons with just Ninian and friends, because I love dragons. Now they're buffed as all hell, and I feel like, I was cool, man. I was cool. I was hipster for using dragons without all those crazy buffs. But now, well, you get these things right away. We're still waiting for gold and ward, but these can wait. The Hone and Fortify is seriously bad. Well, not bad, I mean, like, they're really good, but I mean, they're seriously bad news for people who have to deal with those extra stats. I suppose it's not so bad if you panic them or something like that, but right off the gate, beasts have plenty of support, and they're going to be very strong.
Yeah, and for people that have just been waiting to play with beasts and are excited, they can start doing some strong things with the +6 to all stats. So, yeah, in terms of, I don't think there's too much about these. The artwork and the flavor on Reyson and Leanne are both great. I like how they really went back and looked at how Leanne could not really speak well and was taught and could only speak in broken sentences, and they kind of, the voice actor, if you listen to the line, I mean, we'll see when we get all the full lines data mined, but you can tell from what she said in the video that she doesn't speak well. So it seems like they are paying attention to those kind of things, which was something that early on in the game I felt like they did really, really well with, like, Nino and her closed book. There are plenty of other examples, and I think they've done a good job overall, but I noticed some more examples specifically earlier. But I think that they definitely went back and really looked at these and hit the flavor pretty well. So, do you have anything else on the Herons?
Not really. I mean, I guess Reyson could be a potential demote, but I have some doubts because we're getting Naesala as the Grand Hero battle unit, so that one is probably gonna be the free beast unit that we're gonna get. So a demote is a little unlikely, but it's still possible. Namely because, look at Reyson, he has 4 skills. And the one that he does get is Fortify. Fortify is kind of compared to Hone. So I'm sure there's no way Leanne is going to get demoted. Reyson, there's a slight chance, but possible. I mean, steady posture, speed, and, well, actually it's a pretty decent skill. Speed and defense on when enemy initiate will keep you from getting doubled. It's actually pretty decent, but 4 skills and that, it just kind of tells, oh, you might get demoted. I hope that he does, because it would be the first time in like 3 months since someone gets, or more, 3 months or more, since someone finally gets demoted. That would be really welcoming, despite the fact that the pool is kind of bloated by now. Luckily he's green, so we have a good chance of getting him if he's 4 stars. But yeah, that's basically it about Reyson.
I'm praying that they do what you said. I understand. Look, this banner looks strong. We'll get to Nailah in a second. She's gonna be strong. Tibarn's strong, and then there's 2 dancers. So this is an excellent banner, and it's strong, and I get that. And they don't want to. And what? There's 4 PRFs, 4 unique weapons. So the signs point to not demoting, but they're introducing a new type of unit. And yeah, we get Naesala. He's probably actually the one I'm most excited for out of all of these beast units, because I love the Ravens. So I'm actually going to reinstall the game to get Naesala. But it would be nice to see, with a new type of unit, them to give not just the free one that's the GHB or whatever, to demote one of these, just to give players more access to use the new type of unit. Maybe they'll make tons of beasts, and like every banner or every other banner is going to be beasts, and it won't be a problem. But look, they're just coming out. People are going to want to play with beasts. Let them play with beasts. Demote one so people can get them and play. That's everyone's excited to play with the beasts. So let them do that.
I'm just worried that a more accessible 3-range dancer just seems a little scary. It just brings chill down my spine. It makes me worry. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's they're good arguments either way. Having lots of 3-range dancers for free all over the place. Well, not free, but higher access to 3-range dancers is concerning. But yeah, so let's move on to the last one we have.
The nice and strong Nailah, the Wolf Queen with the Wolf Queen Feng. Alright, so this thing, unlike the others, gives the Wadao effect, which, as we all know, does 10 damage when special triggers. Now her first free ability is this accelerate special trigger thing. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute, like, what is up with this? This is ridiculous. The beast units, when you really think about it, they're like just simply better units. Think about it like this. I mean, like, think about normal weapons, think about beast weapons, think about the fact that, oh, even if they get reverted, they still have these cool abilities, just not the complete set, but they still have enough to be just as good as human units. So beast units feels like just straight up better units, unless of course we start introducing things that say are anti-beast. But even then, anti-beast is kind of like, oh, you know, we have to equip a specific weapon or a specific skill to deal with them. What if there's no beast on the field? Then it's kind of wasted. So it's I can't help but shake the feeling that beasts are like just straight up better units, period. But
well, let me put this in perspective with this weapon. Look, we don't know what the stats are yet, so other than what I think we saw, Tibarn had crazy high attack. The other stats, they didn't show the stats on Nailah because she got initiated on, and they obviously showing that she had distant counter. Leanne and Reyson's stats didn't look particularly insane. They had pretty good speed, but
well, they're dancers though, or singers,
right? And exactly, they're not going to be high. So we don't know what Nailah's stats are yet. But just look at this. Look at the abilities on this weapon: accelerate special trigger and has woe down. Yeah. That's already equal to like some of the forges we've gotten, where you have the slaying weapon plus woe down. Okay, then you have during combat boost speed by attack speed. You know, the 2 range. I want to call it the must spell fire posy. That cycle of weapon. They're not owls, but the 2 range attack speed ones. The only difference is that this doesn't have the +3 to a stat on it. So this is basically woe down plus slaying plus the must spell fire posy version minus 3 speed or 3 attack. This is way stronger than any weapons. This is basically 2 weapons combined. Now, look, I understand also some of those were tomes, so they're magic damage, and it's not quite fair to compare directly a tome to a melee weapon. This also has 14 might, so it's not the typical 16. But when you're talking about abilities, this has basically the effects of 2 weapons in one. So it is ridiculously strong.
Yeah. And these abilities work extremely well together. They have very good cohesiveness. Now, before we go back and continue talking about Nailah, one of the things that separates like Gen 1, Gen 2, and now probably Gen 3 units, because I'm gonna just straight up say it, beasts are like Gen 3 units to me. They have so many good things for them. There's like no negatives for them. Oh, they revert. That's not even a negative. That doesn't really matter because they have so many things going for them already that they are simply better units. Now, think about it like this, okay? Say if you're a guy who starts the game now and you went and pull, say, Ephraim on the Christmas banner. First thing you notice is that Ephraim has like 1,000,000 attack. He goes up to like, how much does he go up to? Like 63, 61? It's a really high number. That and all their skills work together. They have good cohesiveness. So for guys who start up now, you have some seriously powerful units that are just good straight out of the box. Nailah has very, very good cohesiveness in all of her skills. As I've said earlier, she gets that Udao thing and a cooldown reduction. So, say if she uses Moonbow, or if she uses Blue Flames. Blue Flames, is it a 2 or 3? Actually, it's a 3, isn't it? But it becomes 2?
Yeah, but hers would be 2.
Yeah, hers would be 2. It doesn't matter if she gets gets fast enough to double, then you'll get a Blue Flame off anyway. It's pretty scary. But if not, a 2-hitter, a 2 charge could still very likely kill someone because of the fact that, look, man, if you're gonna bait an attack, you're very likely to be surrounded by allies. So you're looking at 6 attack and 6 speed, just like that. along with all the shenanigans of the beast transforming to attack, and then you have the 10, and then you have this special trigger. So as soon as you hit Nailah, she will pay you right back with a moonbow. And she will, because of Null Disrupt. Because it neutralizes status effects and disables skills that prevents counterattack during combat. So neutralizing status effects means that Candlelight doesn't work, or Candlelight Flash variants, they don't work, even if you do affect her with the skill, like by hitting someone else and then splashing it onto her, that'll not work. Or you just straight up, you attacking her with Dazzling Staff, that will not work. That is the main strength behind Nailah. She can counter, and she will counter. And if you build her up to be fast enough, and she doubles you, give her blue flames, and she will rip just about anything to shreds. That is really screwed up. That is how strong these units are now. Now, Glare.
Now we need ability that counters skill, that neutralizes skill.
Right?
Counters.
Right? Yeah. This new Null Disrupt is basically counter, counter, counter. So now we need a skill that counter. Hey, maybe. Yeah. That sounds so incredibly stupid. But you do have to see it like this. It is a B skill. So you end up losing a number of things because of this. So you could...
Yeah.
You could...
She could have run Wrath and had plus 20.
Exactly. I mean, there are ways you could... There are ways you could make her better that she could have done, but this Null Disrupt is pretty strong. It's basically built for her. With the distant counter and everything, it really is built for her. There's just no way around it. But, I mean, you could stop her if you were to run Guard, because she doesn't have any innate abilities to increase her charge time. So you could actually beat her that way if you have a decently chunky unit that runs Sturdy Impact. You're not going to end up dying, and you might even end up killing her. So, there are some things that you have to watch out for when you have to use a B slot, for which I am glad that Null is on a B slot. I mean, if it's on something else, an A slot, okay, then you can't distant counter, but still, you could get to use some really powerful B slot skills as it is. But anyway, we've gone on too long about C Disrupt. There are ways to stop it. It's a bit of an opportunity cost, but it is very, very strong. So anyway,
yeah,
we should probably get to Glare. So Glare, after combat, if the unit managed to do a counterattack, or if they attack someone straight up, they'll be able to lock them down and falls within one space. So it's basically gravity on a C slot. That's actually pretty scary. I actually kind of like that. You can really make some plays with that one.
Yes, this is very strong. We believe this is going to be not inheritable, which is good. I don't want to see combinations of this with Thok and Gravity Ploy plus this, and just like, I remember old school people trying to do Gravity plus Drawback, and like you just can never get to them and they slowly chip away. You could do some kind of stupid things when you have multiple abilities that are limiting foes' movement to one space. Yeah, this is a very good skill.
Oh, this is a good chance to also talk about this as well. So earlier we were talking about how, these herons and hawks, they can get like one extra space. That is actually a buff that they get. It's a straight up buff. So, unlike the attack, which just gets granted to them, that is a buff. So it doesn't stack with anything else that, like Azura's stupid thing to give them an extra space. Thank God, by the way. We don't want to have to put up with 4 spaces moving units just yet. But, something to keep in mind with regards to that. Anyway, I think Glare can counter that as well. So Glare is very scary. I really am looking forward to using something like that. If I even pull her, that is.
Yeah, you nailed it. When her kit is so self-synergistic. Everything works together. It could be all, you could say, built around the distant counter, but everything about her, attacking, disabling things, and her Wodao plus slaying. It all works together, and she's going to be formidable on the battlefield. You're not going to want to fight against her. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think she's very strong, and she should be, because it's Nailah, and she's the queen.
Mm-hmm.
She's the wolf queen. She wrecked people.
Yeah.
If she...
Sorry.
This is a case, you got to make her good.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to get another tactical thing in, but I think that if you run her with a heavy blade seal with Aether or something, and you just end up fighting in like a small valley in which she just kind of uses glare to trickle in enemies, she can stop an entire army. She'll just counter them, suck all the health back, and just keep countering again. Especially if her allies happen to provide her with extra defenses, then she can just sit there all day and defend. She is extremely powerful. Very, very powerful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you just need one to do something like that. That's just how far gone the game is right now. I don't even know what to say. There are ways to counter it, but it's pretty far gone. I don't even know how to use her as a fodder, if I even want to fodder her for a Seed Disrupt, because she's such a good unit. And she even has Distant Counter. You can't get Distant Counter and Null Seed Disrupt at the same time. Well, I guess you can get Null Seed Disrupt too, but who would want to do that,
No one.
Exactly. So she's a tough character. She's a good unit, good fodders, and you can't even get all the fodder. Like, I would feel so bad losing Distant Counter, because Distant Counter is so cool. But then I would lose Seed Disrupt. So if you want to do this setup to someone else, to like Hector or something, you'd have to sacrifice 2 of her. That's it's power creep. Well, Hector already comes with Distant Counter. Bad example. But you know what I mean. Like, another unit that could use both of these skills. That would be really screwed up, man. Oh my god. Oh god. Like, power creep fodders, man. You have to fodder 2 in order to get everything off of them. But anyway, yeah. I feel like I spazzed out enough. So, apologies. Do you think you have anything else to add about Nailah?
No, not about Nailah. I do want to mention that despite that this banner, these units, these skills, especially the new sturdy impact, and the glare, everything looks incredibly strong. But when my reaction to this, when I saw the trailer, was overwhelmingly positive, despite what you might think, oh, it's a bunch of power creep, whatever. People have been asking for beast units for a very long time. If they made these beast units and they were underwhelming, people would have been very annoyed. This feels... It's obviously not CYL, but this feels more like a CYL, where we have been asking for this for a long time. So deliver. When we ask for it and you give us something insane, it's not as annoying as when you're like, hey, here's Surtur, 50 defense, like, this is okay with me. I'm okay with this. We wanted beast units, and these look excellent. So yes, power creep is high. We've gone into all of the skills and how these beast units with their range and the dancers could be a problem, and it's going to be a nightmare. And when you look at it solely from power creep status, this looks like an awful banner. I am very happy with this banner, because this is giving people what they want. So I ultimately can't say that much negative about this banner.
There's jokes about this on Reddit. You know that joke about the sweaty guy who has to make 2 choices with those buttons? Well, there's one where...
Yeah. I was thinking there was going to be something about Lannister paying their debts and Tibarn's.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. Dude, we're talking about memes here. So you got the sweaty guy who's, like, making 2 choices. Being mad about a power creep, or being happy for beast units. Community reaction to new beast banner. So that also makes perfect sense. It's something that we would joke about. It is kind of sweaty, because... that
I can see people being annoyed, but at least people were really requesting this. It doesn't quite feel the same to me. Now, if people don't care about beasts at all and whatever, they can feel the other way. But at least they should respect the fact that there are a lot of people out there that really want Tibarn, really want Nailah, really want Reyson and Leanne, have been waiting for years, hoping, and even if they don't want these, and they're like, I want Selkie, I want Valoria, I want, there's like tons of these beast units, Pan, Caden, Keaton. Look at all the newer series, the Awakening Fates ones. This is just, we're heading in a direction with beast units that is good. Unlike with the, power creep and making old units so unusable being bad. I just think in this case, I'm more okay with what is going on here. And even if other people are just like, oh, it's power creep, it's bad, it just doesn't feel the same to me as like when you see a Surtur or something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Surtur was just a low blow that just came out of nowhere. This, at least, people are kind of confused about. It's just that, oh god, Sturdy Impact was just, it's like they knew that they could use this. They can use this banner as a way to kind of nullify people's ill will towards power creep by just kind of including this into a banner that's been long anticipated. It's a strategy move, in my opinion, to kind of just distract people's overall discontent to the rampant power creep that's going on. But still, I'm really, really worried about that impact business, man. I'm really scared. I don't want to have to deal with Reinhardts that don't die. Ugh.
We're gonna see the effects of this soon. I think if the effects are as bad as we think with the Sturdy Impact and the 3 range dancers, I think the people that were excited for Beasts are gonna quickly turn the other way and be like, well, crap. Now, like, my starting position is getting attacked by a Reinhardt on any random map because they can move 6 spaces or some crap, and I think we'll quickly find out whether this was like a huge mistake and the power creep's bad, or whether people just love their beasts and are happy using them.
It probably will be something where people love their beasts more. I mean, I say all this, but you have to remember, these fodders, they are tied down to 5-star units. You have to summon on a 4-person banner to get them. 4-person banners with different colors and... Well, actually, no. They're 2 blues, but still. 4-person banners are kind of hard to get units out from. Actually, being 2 blue is actually really bad for getting Nailah. So you're looking at some really precious fodders here that won't likely get into a Hero Fest for a little bit. Oh, I see.
Wait a minute. But I thought it was... Wait, 2 blue. I thought
no,
it was...
No. I could be colorblind. No, never mind. I think Leanne is actually colorless. Now I've looked at this. Yeah.
Which, I don't know why, from a flavor perspective, maybe someone who knows Telly's even more than me can answer that, but at least from a perspective for gameplay, they want to have one of each color. But otherwise I don't see why Reyson and Leanne should be different color.
But even then, it's a 4-person banner, so pulling these guys are still going to be tough. 4-person, 3% banners are kind of rough on that. I would think that if you pull one of them, you want to keep them for a little bit. Unless, of course, you're a horrible person who spends 5 figures or more in this game, then, that's a different story altogether. Quite a different story altogether. Like, if I were to start the game like now, I would be perfectly content, spend my 5 figures, and I wouldn't be angry or anything. I'd be like, oh yeah, this is cool. But if I had, long history with this game, which both of us has, then it's kind of like, I don't know, man, this investment might just get power creep to something even worse. Like, I don't even know how they're gonna even power creep this, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, this is like, we're so far gone in this game now that I'm not even sure how power creep will work from now on, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I can't even predict it anymore. They've gotten so strong that I don't even know how they'll make them even stronger at this point. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a great thing. Then I don't have to worry about power creep as much anymore. Like, I really can't see what else they could do besides giving people like 99 all stats or something like that.
What's it, S-Drink or whatever, but for stats?
S-Drink for stats? Oh my god, dude, that's so scary. Just start the turn with 99 and do all stats. Oh, I'm just gonna run right into the enemy army. I'm just gonna kill people. Oh, I'm just gonna have a dancer to make me move like 5 times in a row so I can just kill the entire team just like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But it's likely, it's possible. I mean, these guys are really, really strong. Like I said earlier, these beast units are straight up better units. It's like their way of
verify
saying,
that with stats too.
Yeah.
You know, if they. Well, I think Tibarn's going to be good. I think Nailah's going to be
Tibarn
good.
is definitely good. Oh, there's no way he can't be good. But you know, we've had this talk before. Like, it might be kind of sad that Tibarn and Nailah are the first ones to come out, because then what if when Selkie comes out, Selkie or Valoria? I know that people really like those two, so they're going to be stacked as all hell.
I like them.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. They're going to be stacked as all hell. They're going to be really powerful. I don't know how they're going to be powerful, but they're likely going to be really powerful. And then what am I going to do? I'm saving free-to-play orbs now. I'm like being a free-to-play player because I don't want to support like crazy practices. It's going to take something really nice to bring us back to spending money again. Someone actually asked me this question before, like, what would it take for you to start spending money again? Honestly, I'm not even sure, to be perfectly honest. Will Skill Refinery be enough? Like, what would it take for you to come back to the game and to spend money again?
Skill Refinery is not enough for me to spend. That will absolutely make me come back. I would need some kind of, not assurance, but some kind of hint that they're going to start protecting investments a little longer. I mean, look, power creep is necessary. It's like a necessary evil in these kind of games, but the power creep is too fast now. Like 3 months and your unit is just feels inferior. You can't continue at that kind of rate. You have to make these units more sustainable for longer. Like, I don't think anyone's saying if you pulled a day one unit, you should expect them to be like top of the meta right now. No one's that dumb. But if I pull Legendary Hector and plus 10 him and spend 1,000 or whatever, and then 2 months later Surtur comes out and like has almost all better stats than him, it feels really crappy.
Not even just better stats, like better mechanic, just straight up screwed up.
So if they showed like intent to fix older units, I think it doesn't even have to be that they're going to stop the power creep, but if they show like, if instead of these 3-4 forges, if they like, let's say, hey, we're going to take all these old Gen 1 units that are crap, like Niles and Rebecca and Matthew, and like these units that have no attack, that you could build them for attack and they might hit 55 and could do like 1 damage to a Surtur. That's what we're talking about right now at plus 10. If you take those units and you make them viable again, that I think would bring me into spending. Because then I would feel like they understand the fact that you need to protect investments and bring back the older units and older investments to a competitive level. They don't have to be top tier in the meta. They have to be usable. My plus 10 Summer Fred, all sorts of random things I've pulled that are just completely useless and I can't kill anything with anymore in my competitive meta. This is obviously coming from the whale perspective, but I don't feel like spending tons of money when I feel like, oh, hey, I'm going to pull this new thing and it's going to be crap in 3 months and then I'm never going to use it and it's going to sit there and then repeat this process 5 times until I'm just out thousands and have nothing relevant currently.
Yeah, I mean, you have 50 plus 10 units, so you're already sitting on a lot of things that are not being used. I have like 40 something plus, so I'm also the same way. There's a lot of units that I straight up don't use. I mean, I love Spring Grom, he's cool, but I don't really use him all that much. Like, there's a lot of units that are just kind of sitting in our barracks, just rotting away. They're plus 10, you know, highly desirable units, or formerly highly desirable units, like my plus 10 Ryoma. Like, if I had them in the beginning of the game, plus 10 already, I'll be pretty goddamn formidable. It's like with the Takumi era. Just having Takumi was enough to make you into a very powerful player. But, you know, Takumi fell really quick. His existence was a sad existence. He did not last long at all. But at least Ryoma and the others lasted a decent time. So, you know, as you've said before, you know, I hope that they protect the investment a little more. And I feel like they might start to kind of hit a limit to power creep, because honestly, there's only so much you can do before you have to start doing 99 to all stats. I don't think they're going to do that, so they might just try like new techniques and such. New techniques is fine. I'm perfectly cool with Null C Disrupt. That's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly cool with Glare, even though it's kind of scary. That's fine. I'm not quite cool with the whole, beasts with all their silly effects that are just overpowering. But, at least it's... I don't know. They're still straight up better units, but... At least they're form of a unit type, so eventually there might be, like, counters for them. I hope there would be. But...
There should be Slayer. I mean, that's a common thing in the games to be effective.
Well, I mean, like, beyond Beast Slayers. Like skills that specifically target beasts or dragons. That would be cool. Like, a sea skill that's just... for the entire map, the beasts or dragons, they get their stats reduced, or they can't move. They can only move one spaces. That would be actually pretty scary. Can you imagine, like, your beasts and dragons are just grounded because of this one sea skill? So that would be kind of scary, but I would not fault them. Well, actually, that does sound a little too overpowered. But still, some kind of counter to them. That would be nice. We still haven't had them because they just came out. But if there's a counter to them, I would gladly welcome them. I mean, just like I'm... with Null Disrupt. I don't mind Null Disrupt. It screws with my 6 Passive Pain Plus, but I have 5 other techniques. It's the reason why it's called 6 Passive Pain Plus. I have 5 other ways to do this. So hopefully, there's a way to counter beasts, but there are still ways for beasts to still kind of work. But anyway, the point is that hopefully that Selkie and Valoria comes out, they're not going to be like super overpowering things, but interesting to use. Interesting. Not something that'll ruin my previous investment. Just something really interesting. Anyway, I feel like we kind of went too much on this. Do you think there's anything else you want to touch upon before we end today's programming?
Not really. We went into our little power creep tangent, but
again,
I still am happy for this banner because even though there are issues with it to me, a lot of people are happy to have these units. So when I see an overwhelmingly happy response to this banner, that makes me happy. So I really just can't complain when I see all the players happy to get their beast units. So, we'll see later down the road with the effects on how strong these are and whatever, that I feel like those concerns will play out themselves naturally. And I want to enjoy the units with everyone as they're enjoying them, and then when they want to complain that Leanne is dancing to Reinhardt and move 6 spaces, that can come later. So that'll play out naturally.
Yep. So we'll be happy for now. Or that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
I'm reinstalling to get Naesala, so
yeah,
that's a thing. Yeah. I haven't. So I didn't reinstall for anything else.
I don't know if it's saying happy for now. Sounds like that doesn't sound right. But we'll be happy. We'll be happy that all these cool things are here. We just hope that it doesn't end up destroying the game. Basically, what I'm trying to say. I hope that this is the extent of the of what we're gonna be seeing. I honestly, but at least I just hope for new abilities. Like attack opening is very cool. It's not like overpowering, but it's cool if you set up a team for it. I'm doing that in Aether Raids, by the way. Oh my god, dude, it is so disgusting. All my healers have the same attack, so yeah, they all have like constant buff of attack 6 and like defense and res 5. It is so disgusting. I can't wait to show you all this.
Yeah, I love the opening skills. I love that range.
Range? The whole map! You can't even call it range anymore. It's just the whole map. That kind of skill I really like. That's exactly what I'm hoping to see as counters for beasts and dragons. Well, as I mentioned earlier. Because otherwise you kind of have to like... See, one of the things with Panic Ploy that kind of doesn't make it work out as well is that you have to line up to like exactly in front of the target. If it was, say, that column and adjacent columns, then hey, then Panic Ploy would be a bit stronger. I was kind of hoping for something like that. Oh, but sadly enough, it's just one. Just like with Loki's Thought. Yeah, it was the same thing as well. It's just one. If it was 3 columns, I think it would be a lot more competitive. But I think it's something that'll eventually come out. Or maybe they will have their skill refinery and they'll do something about these skills as well. Hey, that would be actually really cool. I love tooling around with things. I love making things work. I just, you know, I want to see if Panic Boy that will work. Then I will have a good excuse to use more high HP units, like Carol, for example. And just have them just shoot out these ridiculous panic beams at people. So yeah, the skill refinery, I hope it comes out soon, because despite what we have complaints about sturdy impact, you know, if there are equally powerful skills to take care of it, then it's not so very bad. I'm looking forward to getting Fortress Dev Res on my other units, but I'm not looking forward to summoning Cliff to get him. That latest banner that we just had, the Fortress one, it shares color with Lucas. There's no way I would summon on that banner. Dude, I would end up getting more Lucas than I would get Cliff. I can just smell it. Just like that stupid time I had with that Christmas banner.
All those
all those croms over Glissa, yeah. But anyway, this video is starting to turn into an hour long, so I think we should stop right here, unless you have something else to add.
Nope. Sounds good to me.
Alright, well, that's about it then, everyone. I thank you all, if you're still around, for coming and listening to our little thing about beast units that are really cool, but could be potentially dangerous. Till next time.